that right now. But hi, I'm Allie Aspden, and I'm so excited to be talking to you today. And I'm not just talking to you as someone that's been working in the AI space, but as someone that has spent a lot of time in the realities of veterinary medicine. And I spent the 9 years as a veterinary technician. I was really chasing my dream of becoming a vet, and watching a lot of the doctors around me just drown in light of everything going on. And not because they didn't love the work that they were doing, but they're just overwhelmed. And so, as we know, burnout is everywhere. 16-hour shifts, missed meals, missed moments with family. I'm sure many of you in this room are familiar. And I saw a lot of the people that I was really respecting and looking up to start to quietly question themselves and starting to ask themselves, is this still for me? And so, quite frankly, it was something I started to ask myself as well, despite loving this field more than anything. And so I took a step back and I decided to explore human medicine, as many of us do. I love people, I don't get the ick, so I thought it might be nice for me. And I became a medical scribe. And really what that meant was I was a professional creeper. It was amazing. I got to just stand over the doctor's shoulders and write all of their medical records for them. And I noticed the impact right away. The doctors were present. They were connected with their patients, and they were just in the moment and speaking. They were also leaving on time and able to spend time with their families. So I thought, why don't vets have this? They are so busy, they're underwater, they desperately, desperately need it. And so I actually ended up pitching the idea to a hospital that I was working in as a technician. They weren't very interested. They said that I could be a scribe, but they really didn't want to take it, out to a program size and to support more than just one doctor. And so I said, okay, I understand. But I really couldn't let the idea go, and it was still in the back of my mind. And I joined Veterinary Emergency Group in 2020, and with the encouragement of my team at Veg Newton and my husband pushing me, and actually my hospital manager telling me that if I didn't pitch it, that she was going to, which I was not going to let happen, I pitched it to the founders. And to their credit, they said yes. And from there was one condition. They did ask me to put my dreams of furthering my education on hold. And I said yes. For me, it was an opportunity to do something super cool. And I was like, I'm in, that's fine, that's great, I'll do it, no big deal. And against many odds and many other scribe programs, including some of the best that human medicine had to offer, we succeeded. And we rolled out into 3 of Veg's busiest hospitals in under 6 months. Fast forward 3 years later, and we had over 150 scribes in 21 states and in 40 plus hospitals. And most importantly here, supporting hundreds of doctors. And from here, there's a lot of reasons why I think that our team was able to succeed. And I think the biggest one is because we understood what many of these other companies didn't, and that's what doctors cared about. Medical records are more than just notes or paperwork. They're truly a representation, and the only tangible one, oftentimes, of a doctor's work. It's how they're represented in the community, to the state boards, and to their peers. And so for us, we took that we didn't take it lightly, we took it very seriously. And it's something that we knew we had to honor. But through all of that, there was something that I realized, and it was that veg is the exception. Scribes are deservedly very expensive. They often run at about $20 to $25 an hour. And not every hospital has the margins to support that. And so while it was fantastic to support hundreds of doctors, we wanted to find a way to do more. But that's when, in 2023, I met these 2 incredible individuals, Ryan and Alina. And I was at a conference when I overheard them say the word scribe, which at the time in vet med was almost mythical. And so I used my creeping skills, which I learned from scribing, And I sort of waited in the corner until I had a moment that I could introduce myself. And when I did, they told me their story. And really, I sat with them for over an hour, and I immediately got that they understood what was going on. They understood the need. And it was because their sister Katie, which is also a co-founder of Scribenote, but she's a veterinarian. And they were watching her come home late after her shifts, missing meals, and truly starting to feel the toll that was being taken on her, despite her passion for being a veterinarian, that's something she wanted to do her whole life. And so, being engineers, of course, they created a solution. And Scribenote was born after many, many iterations and many hours spent in hospital with Katie. And really for us at Scribenote, that's what sets us apart. We understand, the core of our mission here, which is to not only make our systems more efficient, but to understand and honor the people that are inside of them. We know that that's, what's most important. And so if we wanted to impress you with numbers, we could. We, on average, dropped a doctor's time spent on medical records over 90 minutes, which is amazing. We also, in one case, were able to add an extra case and a half to a doctor's daily schedule, and that was measured actually across 5 different hospitals with one of our enterprise groups. And so after all of that, it is something we care about, right? Metrics are important, but for us, our mission is more about serving the people and not the spreadsheet. That comes next. That comes second for us. And so over the years, there were 2 stories that have stuck with me the most. The first and foremost was actually a hearing impaired doctor. I met him as a student at the University of Florida, and I told him about scribes at the time, but he had yet to experience them. And once he had graduated and actually worked in one of our hospitals at VEG and had tried it, he was overcome with emotion when he reached out and said he was worried about practicing because the way he connects with people is through facial expressions and body language. And he finally had the ability to do that and not also worry that his notes were going to suffer. And so he never thought that that would be just a thing for him. And so he just started crying. And it was incredible to see, it was incredible to solve a problem for somebody. And then the next one that really stuck with me was a doctor that had severe anxiety. And this was an email that he wrote, actually. And he said, "My anxiety about cases walking through the door turned to enthusiasm to see more cases and help more people and their pets." He said, "I had fun. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by being busy, I felt energized by it. I felt like cutting an anchor free. It freed me to exist in my passion for the work, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that." And these aren't just feel-good anecdotes. These are the outcomes and the kind that matter. Because AI, again, it's not just about improving systems. It's about understanding the people who live inside of them. And if we want AI to have a future in this field, it has to serve the people first and not the spreadsheet. And so to bring this full circle, I want to go back to the moment where I had paused my education to start that first Scribe program. Once the program was thriving, I decided to apply. And it took about a year to pull all of my essays and recommendations and everything together. It felt a little bit like applying for a mortgage and having my mom read my diary all at the same time, as many of you I'm sure already know. And actually after all of that, I was rejected. And crushed, of course, is putting it lightly, but the letter had invited me to sit and meet with an admissions counselor. And so despite a hefty load of self-doubt and a lot of tears, I drove to the university and I sat with the counselor. He said something to me that I didn't expect. He said, "Most applicants discuss the changes that they want to see in veterinary medicine, but we very rarely, if ever, see somebody actually doing it." And he said, The committee was questioning whether being a doctor would be able to amplify the work that you're already doing, or if you're in the right place. And so, for me, it was something that I just hadn't realized, and it was very eye-opening. And I sort of took a second and realized and looked around and understood that this is my mission. All of this and helping doctors in this way is what I'm here to do. And so I'll leave you with this. Find your mission in this field. Use all of this incredible technology and all of these tools and solve all of the problems that we're facing to help this field that is in such desperate need. This isn't about AI, but it's about building a future where care is sustainable to everyone who gets it, and that's why automation matters. So thank you for listening. And thank you to all of the doctors who have allowed us to help them shoulder this burden for them. We see all of you, we're with you, and we're building alongside of you. Thank you.